The Wright brothers' first ever plane was made out of a box. Well, not just any box though. This was a specially designed box made of wood and fabric that would become the world's first man-powered aircraft. In 1900, Orville and Wilbur Wright were living in Dayton, Ohio, where they had a bicycle shop, but in their free time, they were conducting experiments with kites and gliders to try and figure out how to create a flying machine. After a lot of trial and error, they came up with the idea for a box kite. This kite was made of two wooden boxers, one on top of the other, and was covered in fabric to make it look like a bird. They attached a large wing to the front of the box and a tail to the back to help with steering, and then they put a seat in the middle for the pilot to sit in. But there was one big problem. The Wright brothers couldn't figure out how to get the thing off the ground. No matter how hard they tried, the box kite just wouldn't fly. So they went back to the drawing board to come up with a new design. After a few months of working on their new design, the Wright brothers created what they called a biplane. This plane had two sets of wings, one above the other, which allowed it to create more lift than their previous design. They also added a third wing to the tail to help with steering. But even with all these improvements, the plane still wasn't flying very well. Just when the Wright brothers were about to give up, Wilbur had a brilliant idea. He suggested that they cover the wings in a thin layer of fabric so that they could catch the wind more efficiently. This idea turned out to be the breakthrough they were looking for. With the new fabric wings, the plane was able to lift off the ground and stay in the air for several minutes at a time. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers took their plane out to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, to do some test flights. With the help of a strong wind, Orville was able to take off and stay in the air for 12 seconds. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make history. The Wright brothers had successfully flown the world's first airplane. After their successful first flight, the Wright brothers continued to experiment with different designs and eventually developed planes that were able to travel at speeds of over 60 miles per hour. Their invention of the airplane would go on to change the world forever. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more historical tailies. And remember, if you're ever in Dayton, Ohio, you can visit the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force to see the Wright brothers' first ever plane.